Hey, welcome back. Welcome to our first um, live stream on WrestleNet Radio. Probably should have done this before we started.
Oh,
I am Mr. Mubs, aka George.
Roll dog.
He's getting his nerd on as always.
Always.
And we just want to thank everybody at WrestleNet Radio for giving us the opportunity to do this. So this is kind of our little pilot. Um, so what you want to talk about today?
Our favorite moments in wrestling history.
When I think about memorable moments, I go back to the Raw episode. Well, it was called Raw is War back then. And I think about uh, Vince McMahon and the corporation getting a beer bath by Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was a memorable moment back in the Attitude Era.
Sure was.
Spilling beer all over that ring, and man, could they act. Vince McMahon, The Rock, Shane McMahon, they all swimming in the beer, just drowned in like they're freaking fish out of water.
Fish out of water.
You got a memorable moment?
I got a lot of memorable moments. What the heck? I don't know. One of my memorable moments was back in the days, because I've been watching wrestling for a while. I guess my first one would probably be that I remember off the top of my head was when Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. Now that was my first moment to me that stood out. I got other moments, but that was like the moment, because he was billed as a beast. He had never been off his feet. He ain't never been on his back. He ain't even been dropped. And then, build up, I want to say maybe a week before then, I think he got knocked down by Hulk. You know what I'm saying? But Hulk tried to pick him up, couldn't pick him up. And, Andre just smacked him all the way down, like, get out of here, flea. And so when Hulk, finally picked him up and he body slammed, it was like, oh my gosh. It was art spot. It was awesome. Greatest moment ever.
Well, and I think as time goes on, history kind of repeats itself. Of course, you had Kane slamming the Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to say the Undertaker slammed Khali. I want to say that. I don't know if that's true or not. Then there was the whole ring exploding thing with Brock Lesnar and the Big Show. And then there was, I want to say, what was it, Braun Strowman and the Big Show exploding the ring as well?
Yeah, I want to say so.
And
then you've got Bam Bam. We bring him up yet?
We haven't. We were going to talk about it.
When Bam Bam put Taz to the ring, and I mean it was that was a moment too. That was to me was just as bad moment as when Andre got slammed because Bam Bam was struggling to do anything with Taz, and somehow he got him, and he suplexed him off the rope, and he went through the ring. But at that point in time, had nobody beat Taz, so he had to get Taz's limp body from underneath the ring back up on the mat and pin him. So you see Bam Bam disappearing to this hole, and he's pulling Taz up by one arm. And I mean he's not struggling. I mean he's pulling Taz like he's a rag dog. He's winning his belt, and nobody telling him nothing. And he pulls his body, his carcass on that mat, and he pings for that one, that two, that three. Oh my God, man, my heart! I was,
Man, not one of my first, my very first WrestleMania 12, and it was just unbelievable.
Right.
I think they started off with a 6-man tag team match with the British Bulldog,
I love Davey.
Owen Hart,
I love Davey Boy.
and Vader.
Ha ha.
Versus, if I'm getting this wrong, I'm sorry. Ahmed Johnson, Jake the Snake, and man, there was another one, and I'm just drawing a blank, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But and it was just like from beginning to end, because I know the first match didn't have Goldust in it, because the Goldust Roddy Piper feud at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember they used the film from the O.J. Simpson trial,
Yeah.
and they used that as like, the little car chase, and it was funny.
Yeah.
Of course, back then, as a little 8, 9-year-old, I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
But it was cool. But just from beginning to end and kind of building up to the Bret the Hitman Hart versus Shawn Michaels main event was just amazing. You had like the Ultimate Warrior. Versus Triple H, and that was pretty much a squash match.
Yeah.
A 3-minute squash match.
He said 3-minute squash match.
I'm not even kidding you. That was right after the infamous curtain call. And they, Nash and Hall went to WCW. Shawn Michaels was going to be the WWE champion.
Yeah.
So Triple H was getting squashed left and right. I think that was before the whole curtain call thing. But it's like, well, we can't do anything to Shawn because he's champ. Hall and Nash had already signed with WCW.
Right.
And so we're just like, okay, well, we're gonna squish Triple H because that's the only person left that has no notoriety.
Right.
Who knew 30 years later he was gonna be running the damn company?
Right.
Rest in peace, Warrior.
Yep, rest in peace.
But yeah, that main event for WrestleMania 12 was just exquisite. As a 9-year-old jumping up and down, like especially when it went to a sudden death like draw, and then you had Gorilla Monsoon coming out there, back in his glory days when he was beating up people. But and then you had like Bret Hart, just like, man, I don't want to go back to the ring. I've already competed for an hour, and just the boyhood dream coming true. That was kind of my coming up, if you will, to it, because it was just an amazing match, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, that was a great match. That's one of those moments too. That legendary classic history is part of history's moment. I also like the New Day's reign. I like that they won that, and I like that Kofi did his thing too. Even though I'm not a big Kofi singles fan, like in the tag team, I love New Day. It's my favorite tag team. Period. In the discussion.
I liked Kofi Mania. I'm gonna call it Kofi Mania. 35. I hate how they did Kofi.
Yeah.
With the whole Brock Lesnar situation, and these are two people that on this stream do not like Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
We never did. I mean, I guess that's the whole point of his character. He's a heel, but he's also a part-timer. It was kind of that whole thing between like Rock and Cena. And then they say it's once in a lifetime, and then it happens twice in a lifetime because you roll it back the next year. And another thing I'll never forget, when they did it the first time, Cena was like, man, you're just a part-timer and you go do movies. And now it's like, well, Cena's the part-time person too now.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does WWE think we're stupid? Like, I don't... I don't understand that. Like, I mean, I get it. It was probably not something he was thinking about so many years down the road, but
Yeah,
it's
but
just
you can
kind of
tell
cheesy.
you can tell he's been through hell and back. You know.
Right. I lost my breath from the Pepsi.
Mhm.
It went down the wrong hole, fellas.
I know. I got one more match that that I call memorable, and that was when Dusty Rhodes was fighting Ric Flair in that first blood match.
Was it inside the cage?
Yeah,
Because
because
it was a
they had it was actually a few of them, but and they had split. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to say that the first time it happened, uh, Rick had split open Dusty, and oh man, he buck stuck pig, man. But the reason,
I think that's one of Rick's special abilities through all these WWE games.
yeah,
He can bleed really easy. He's
yeah,
like, hey,
yeah, but he made Dusty bleed. But I'm saying when Dusty boy it came out, and man, Dusty's big boy, and they got into Dusty talking strong. He got me in the ring, man. Rick ain't no punk, man. He might come off as a heel and with the oh no, then poking you out, give you one of them low blow, but Rick can get after it. But anyway, Ricky did something that made him mad, and I don't know if y'all ever know, Dusty had where he wore elbow pads,
yeah,
and he wore pads, but he took he one of his moves, he took that elbow pad off and he elbowed you top of your head. Boy, I'm telling you, man, he split his man's head wide open, bro. I was,
yeah.
I
That
mean,
brings
woo.
that brings me back to another memorable moment when Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton were in a feud,
Yeah.
and you weren't supposed to, you know, bleed because it's PG.
Right.
Man, Brock Lesnar took his elbow and opened Randy up, and all you see is a puddle of blood. I'm like, I'm like R-Truth and all them memes. I'm like, I don't even know if that's PG.
Yeah.
But let alone, I, it's a memorable moment. Do I like Brock Lesnar? No. Do I think it was a memorable moment? Yes, because of the circumstances. It's supposed to be PG, and this feels like rated R, not like Edge, but rated R. So yeah, it's a memorable moment. Do I like Brock Lesnar? No. It was a great moment though. One of my all-time favorites, another really good moment, was a couple years down the road after WrestleMania 12, which was Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels with the special enforcer Mike Tyson. And I was doing some research, and like every time Austin won a title, or at least in the times I remember, something was off about it. Okay, when he won the title against Michaels, Tyson's the one who counted the three, not an actual official. I get it; he's a special
I
enforcer.
remember that.
Okay, when Austin won the title from The Rock the first time around, which was I think 15, Mankind was a special referee. Mankind, another wrestler or another figure, not an actual referee, counted the three.
Right.
When Stone Cold turned heel and aligned with Mr. McMahon, there was circumstances. Somebody interfered. Mr. McMahon. So Austin never really physically won the title clean or fairly. Or at least in that little bit of chunk. I don't know if anybody else noticed that. But I was like, man, a real official never really counted the three except when, people were involved.
Right. I've never noticed that, man. You got me a little off words on that one, bro. I've never noticed that. Like, I'm serious.
And I don't know. Like I said, I may be completely wrong. Maybe I am totally wrong. But from what I remember, it was definitely at WrestleMania 14. Tyson came in and counted the three. Which, granted, I know. Like I said, he's an outside enforcer. So what? but it was not an actual official referee.
Right.
And then there was Mankind, who was the special guest referee for 15, because before later in the night, Paul White versus Mankind happened. And if Paul White won, he became the special referee.
Right.
And so it was just like, yeah. and then, like I said, and there might have been another title reign in there somewhere. I can remember Stone Cold celebrating with Earl Hebner. So I wonder if at some point, if he didn't get a clean victory over whoever he was facing at WrestleMania for the belt. But I'm just saying, it's something to look at. His records may be nice at WrestleMania, but there's been I feel like we should put an asterisk by it, like the Patriots and all their Super Bowl wins.
And as nice as the Undertaker's. Huh.
Undertaker's a legend in his own right, though.
Yeah, buddy.
And it's sad when only 2 people have ever beat you. And one of them I don't even count.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I don't even count Brock. In fact, if you ask me, you should have saved it for a full-timer like Roman Reigns to let him beat the streak. That would make it mean so much more.
Yeah, not somebody who comes and goes, just pleases.
And we cannot talk about memorable moments without talking about The Undertaker. What a legendary career. Over 30 years.
And to lose to the a downgrade of the Ultimate Warrior.
You mean that discount wannabe version of the Ultimate Warrior that you find in the Dollar Tree bin?
Yeah, that guy. I said it, downgrade. You know
hey, listen, I ain't disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, man, you can't not talk about memorable moments if you don't talk about The Undertaker.
Right.
Does anybody know who took the first tombstone? When he first teamed up, I think it was Survivor Series.
You talking about as the Undertaker?
As the Undertaker.
No, I don't know.
Does anybody? Coco Beware.
Is that who it was?
I'm almost positive. Coco Beware.
I love Coco back in the day.
Survivor Series, what was it, 1990? Because it's $1 million team. It's $1 million team versus Bret Hart's team. Mm-hmm. Hart Foundation team.
Yeah.
I want to say that Coco Beware was the first one to ever take a tombstone. Now, at WrestleMania, I want to say it was Snuka. But the first ever tombstone was Coco Beware, and then the last ever tombstone was not AJ Styles. It was actually one of the Good brothers.
Was it?
Because he had tombstoned him and then I think threw him off the roof. where he did the cinematic match.
Yeah. I remember that.
Another person I want to talk about.
Which I actually like that.
I was going to say, the cinematic matches I like. The cinematic matches I like. And, of course, y'all can't see us, but Raw Dog's rocking an AEW t-shirt. And I have no words to say on AEW. I think they've got a really good product going. And I think they could do more cinematic matches with Sting and it not be too much.
Right.
I know people are like, man, Sting's in like his 60s and still wrestling. You're right. You know what? Ric Flair, I think, almost nearly wrestled into his 70s.
Yeah, buddy.
And I think still won a championship. If I'm not mistaken, Ric Flair won the Intercontinental Championship in his 60s.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I can't remember who he won it from, but I'm pretty sure he did. I want to say it was Carlito or somebody. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying AEW put a championship on Sting. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying put him in a match against Darby Allin. I know that's his tag team partner, but come on. What's it going to hurt? Mm-hmm. If you're going to elevate somebody, put a legend with them. Be like, hey, listen, we're going to put this legend with you to elevate your status. That way, when you go after Kenny Omega, who has the world title, you have a legitimate shot of actually beating Kenny Omega. Instead, we're just going to keep you down here. And it's not like it's WCW where Hulk Hogan wins all the time. We're not pushing the product into the ground. We're trying to raise up new talent so we ain't got to keep throwing the same old talent at you time again.
Hogan lost? What?
I know, right? But we have just been sharing some of our favorite moments from past WWE, WCW, ECW, AEW. God, what else is there?
ECW.
I thought I said that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's it for us. I don't know because
I was gonna say
I don't think we went so far in depth that we went back to the original NWO.
No, we didn't. We didn't go that far. I think it was unexpected when Hulk Hogan was the third man at the. I want to say, what was it? The Bash of the Beach. Was it the third man at the Bash of the Beach, or was that Starrcade? I don't know. I can't remember. I know, like, it was so hyped up because it was a 6-man tag, and I think you had Sting and Luger on one side.
Yeah.
And Macho Man.
Oh, love Macho.
I think Macho Man was on their team at the time because that's who he dropped the leg drop on.
Yeah.
And then you went from a course of woo to a course of brrr.
Yeah.
And like they were throwing trash in the ring and everything. And then that Monday night, oh my God, if I wasn't a Monday night flipper, you would know it. I was so stinking mad that the day after. Because I was just like, I mean, they were just like, hey, we're the NWO now, brother. I'm just over it.
Yeah.
I was over it about it. And I was freaking 9, 10 years old. Like, you know, back then they didn't do spoilers like they did now.
Yeah, about made me cry what it did for me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And the internet wasn't as popular as it is now. You didn't see these people off screen.
Right.
But you could guarantee they were every Monday night, 8, 7 Central. I was what channel is it? TNT. What channel is it? USA. That was me. Or Spike in the later run. Or TNN or whatever it was called.
TNT.
They had one that was called it was Spike, but before it was Spike, it was TNN. I'm pretty sure. Not to be confused with CNN, but I'm pretty sure. But anyway, that's not the point. My point is, Monday Night Wars were real. That is my point. Another person I need to talk about real quick is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is just one of those people that over the years, probably like 30 plus years, is another person that you could just... In WCW, he was a different person, but he was the same person.
Right.
In WWE, he was the same person, but it was just a different character, and he reinvented himself so much that he wasn't the same character.
Right.
But I believe that is going to be it for the night. And I have been Mr. Mubs.
And it's your boy Roll Dog. If you smell what the Raj is cooking.
And we have been talking to you through WrestleNet Radio. Have a good night, everybody, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Deuces.